Stanley chuffed back. "My, that's a long train," he puffed. "Not for a strong engine like you," tooted Thomas. But Thomas knew it was too long and too heavy. Stanley started up the hill. It was very steep. Stanley was doing his best. Stanley was using all his huff and all his puff. The trucks clanked, creaked. The train was far too heavy. Stanley's wheels spun and slid. Suddenly, the coupling snapped, and Stanley's trucks rolled away, faster and faster. The engines gasped as Stanley's train came racing down the hill. It smashed into the tower. Suddenly, the coupling snapped, and Stanley's trucks rolled away, faster and faster. The engines gasped as Stanley's train... Suddenly, the coupling snapped, and Stanley's trucks rolled away, faster and faster. The engines gasped as Stanley's train came racing down the hill. As the tower crashed to the ground, bricks and dust exploded everywhere. All the hard work was wasted. The engines gasped in horror, and Thomas felt worst of all. He knew it was all his fault. The Fat Controller and Miss Jenny came to see what had happened. "This is a disaster," boomed the Fat Controller. "Thomas," he asked, "why did you shunt so many trucks for Stanley?" Thomas felt terrible. He knew why he'd done it, but he couldn't tell the Fat Controller and the other engines. He felt too ashamed. So he said nothing. The Fat Controller was very cross. The other engines started to whisper. "Thomas doesn't like Stanley," snorted James. "That's why he shunted too many trucks for him." "Why would Thomas do such a thing?" asked Toby. "Thomas would never do that," peeped Percy, but he was worried. Thomas felt very bad. He puffed slowly away. Thomas found an old track. He wanted to be alone. "The other engines don't want me around," he puffed sadly. "They wish I wasn't here at all." Stanley puffed towards Thomas. He saw that Thomas looked sad and alone. "Thomas feels bad," he chuffed to himself. He felt very sorry for him. Later, the Fat Controller called the engines together. "Now, Great Waterton may not be ready for Sodor Day," he announced sternly. The engines gasped. "Miss Jenny's crew will load the rubble into the trucks tonight. But this means extra work for all of you," he added. "Tomorrow you will start to shunt the trucks away to the sidings." Thomas had let down the Fat Controller. He had let down the other engines, and he had let himself down. The other engines started to chuff away. No one spoke to Thomas. He was no longer in charge, and he felt he was no longer wanted.